Let me grab a circle. Oh, a curve here. And I'll go backwards this time instead of forwards on the circle. I'll actually have the curve going inwards. Which this was one of the main ways I was doing things when I started doing the layering, because of the Dark Elf stuff, the blades, and welcome Tritantino. Hope I didn't murder that. Okay. So, let me try something here. Since they apparently have kind of jacked this stuff up a little bit. Usually when I start the layering, see, there we go. Now it worked. Let me see if it distorts it on this side. Kind of pulled those a little bit. You get little sections like this. If you just take the line tool, I know some people, they'll pull it over like that, but if you see that just screwed that top part up. So if you pull it over and then pull it back, it doesn't pull an entire section like that. And then you can just go in at the one next to it. And sometimes it won't affect the one above it or next to it at all. Depending on how it is. See, like that one there, that didn't affect any of the ones around it. Because that's actually the corner section of what the voxel would be right there. So it didn't affect the ones around it at all. This one is actually the whole voxel, so it pulled the voxel next to it. Kind of show you that again. See, like this one doesn't affect it because it's only the corner of that voxel. Now this one here's the whole voxel, so if I come over and stretch this, that's going to pull everything up on top because it's connected to that voxel. Both of those are connected to that voxel on the corners. So when you pull that affects the two voxels above it. But if you just do that one, it only affects that one voxel that's right above it. That just kind of makes it easier when you're fixing some of these little artifacts. I know not everybody really worries about these, but my OCD does not allow me to leave them. So, Tom Hardy, huh? And I will I'll go to my Dark Elf build here in a minute. And I'll kind of show you guys, for the ones that haven't seen, kind of the things that I do with these. Like normally, I'll chop this out. And I got a lot of these, the ways to do this stuff from Bride. Because fortunately the community and Landmark are very good people, and people don't mind sharing how they do things and helping others learn how to do some of this stuff. Well, I don't watch Star Trek, so. But I do know who you're talking about as far as Bane, but he had that voice thing masked on the mask when he talked most of the time. So no, I'm a wars guy. I don't do the Trek thing. I'm one of those wars guys. So it looks like they changed from having to face it north and south this direction to north and south on the sides. Is kind of what it's looking like to me. With some of this stuff here. And the easy way that I just did that, if you don't want it double thick like that, how I just did that, you can always just flip it. And then grab this one again. Flip it. And paste it back in. And it fixes it. Yep. And that's looking like what the case is instead of the front, the edge of the voxels facing north and south, now it has to be the sides. So that's the basic gist of it. I mean, if you want to make curved stairs or anything like that, I mean it's possible to not have to do the healed earth in front of it by just doing that like that, because potentially that you could do something like that and then turn it into stairs. Pretty simple. And to get these curves, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. Let me go ahead. I'll go ahead and kind of explain how I do these too. Because, I mean, there's not a whole lot to layering. It's basically trial and error. Just make sure that, your voxel faces are facing north and south direction. And if you get some type of distortion on one side, just copy the other side, stick it back on the other side, and make sure you don't flip it the wrong direction. You always want to mirror in the direction of the faces. Seeing how that kind of distorted that out a little bit, which isn't a big deal. You could always take the line tool to go back in and fix that, but then you can just mirror it and go back in and paste it over it, and it'll fix it. And a lot of times that's much quicker than going in with the line tool and trying to fix piece by piece. But how I do these curves, and this is actually a trick I learned from Viral. On how to do my Gothic arches for the Dark Elf build. Let me grab... I don't want burled wood, that's for sure. It's too dark. Okay. So you make you a square. I mean, you can do this about pretty much any size. Just depending on what size you want your curve to be. And let me go ahead and grab this stucco again. And go ahead and paint your corners in. Find your middle section, which is going to be, since this is even, it's going to be 2 of these instead of just 1. And then what I like to do is go ahead and, instead of moving, getting rid of the selection and then trying to find them again, I just like to go ahead and paint the ones next to it so that I know exactly where those are going to be at. And basically what we're going to do is make a cross in the middle of this panel here. And what that's going to do is it's going to help us line up our sphere, because we're going to take the heal tool, shift click, and this just makes it easier to line this up in the center. You see, I gotta move this up just a little, which with this being even makes things a little bit harder sometimes, because then you have to figure out the exact size that you need. See, it just kind of helps you line it up exactly where you need it. And you can do pretty much any size curve. Let me go a little bit smaller on that. So that you can get sharp edges, you can get thicker edges, make the curve thicker, make the curve thinner. But basically what you're going to do is just, and you have to be in the ground to do this because you're going to heal it. And the reason that you do that is so that this actually turns into healed air, which then, when you copy it and go to paste it, there's nothing in the middle of it. Now, you will get some distortion on some of these, on the sides. One side usually you're going to get a little distortion on. So you got to just kind of look and see. And find the one that's close to the best. Now, if you want to take this so that you can have 2 voxel thick curve, whichever side is the clean side, which was this side over here, you're going to paste that side on the side that had the distortion. So that you can then grab this out, copy that, paste it, and then it's clean on both sides. And then that way when you stack this out, however thick you want to make it,